Good morning, YouTube. I am Bearded Ink, and today we're just going to bring you a little video about the newest update to Streamer.bot version 0.2.4 or 2.4 or 24, whatever you want to call it. It is the latest version. It came out just shy of a week ago, and there are numerous changes to this version. There's been a lot going on. The beta took several weeks to go through, so there's a lot of fixes, there's a lot of new features, there's a lot of updates, and there's a lot of new things that we need to be aware about. This video is just going to cover some of the more important features. We're not going to cover everything, but I will tell you what we are going to cover, what we're not going to cover, and what to look for coming up in the future here on the channel. So we're going to go ahead and get right into it because there is so much to cover, and I really don't want this to be one of my longer videos. It's just going to be more informative and talking heads. So bear with me. I will try to keep it as entertaining as possible, but there are some things that you need to know about. So we're not going to switch scenes just yet. We're going to keep right here and talk about some of the things. The first major thing that you need to be aware of is that versions prior to the 2.0 update will no longer auto update to the latest version. So if you're running 1.14, 1.15, if you've been away from Streamer.bot for a while and maybe you're thinking of making a comeback, you can still keep what you have in your version and update to 2.4, but it's going to require 2 updates to do so. And what that means is, because the update feature had to hold so much information for each previous version and convert things, Nate decided it was time to sever that tie and make it a lot lighter on the back end. So if you are on a version prior to 2.0, when you open your Streamer.bot, you're going to be prompted to upgrade to 2.0. And then once you've run that upgrade, you'll shut down the bot and restart it, and then you will be prompted to update to 2.4. Now, if you are currently on 2.4 or later, you don't have to worry about the double upgrade. You will automatically upgrade to the latest version, which is, as we said before, 2.4. So that is one of the big things you need to be aware of moving forward. Now, also, the import and export has changed quite a bit as well. Now, the functionality and how you import and export hasn't changed. All of the buttons are still there. You can still add things by right-clicking your actions and adding them to the export. But 2.4 is not backward compatible anymore as far as exporting goes. So if you're running 2.4 and your friend, say, for example, is running 2.2 or 2.3, you cannot take an action group and export it to them and have it import correctly. And likewise, bringing things in from prior versions to 2.4 is kind of janky, and it really just doesn't work at all. So I recommend that before you create exports, you find out what version you are creating those exports for and ensure that everybody is on the same version, just to make it easier. But with the changes that 2.4 brings along, there is absolutely zero reason not to fully update. So if you are on a previous version, I highly recommend that you all update to the new 2.4 and moving forward, stay along with those updates. Unlike the previous OBS version, cue my little bubble. The OBS thing is really broken at the moment, and they're patching it up to try to fix those problems. Streamer.bot does not have that issue. So go ahead, feel free to run that update without worry. And there are some things that you may have to reconnect your YouTube accounts because some of those scopes have changed, or you may have to change a couple of your settings. But for the most part, everything should work, especially if you're coming from like 2.2 or 2.3. Okay. But other than that, we're going to go ahead and switch over to scene now because I want to show you how much actually went into this update, and so you can get a feel for why I'm trying to keep this video as short as possible. All right. So Here we are on the changelog page. Now, Nate normally splits this up into 4 different sections. The first section will be the new features, and then the older features that have been updated, and then the bug fixes. And then the 4th section is explaining some of the more prominent new features or updates that happen. But I want you just to kind of take a look at this because that's how this changelog is also set up. But as you can see, as I scroll through here, we're looking at the new features now, and those are indicated by the green plus icon, which means it's something that is new. And I'm going to link the changelog in the description below. But just look how many new things have been added to 2.4, right? That there's over 60 new items here. And then the updates, and this is updates to things that have already been installed into Streamer.bot that have been updated. So these are not new features. These are indicated by the little blue edit icon you see here. And there are over 80 of those things involved. So you can see I'm still scrolling the list here. Finally, we get to the fixes, which is the little yellow, looks like a database check mark symbol. And these are things that have been wrong in past or caused errors or crashes or fatal UI exceptions, things like that, that have been fixed. And as you can see, also, there's quite a bit of those. I think if I counted correctly, there's almost 90 fixes that Nate has put in before we finally ever get to the new stuff. And this is something that I'm not going to cover in this video. And this is the Streamer.bot chat update. Now, this is the embedded chat in Streamer.bot, and Whipstick Stopgo is the one responsible for the Streamer.bot chat. He's done an amazing job, and there are a ton of new features and ton of updates to this embedded chat as well. And I feel that that deserves its own video, and I will be doing that as I get to play around more with the chat, because I haven't really played too much with it. I know some of the changes and being a part of the beta testing. I got to watch some of the features come to life, and I'm really excited about them, but I feel that the chat itself deserves its own video. So we're not going to cover that here. So if you're here looking for the chat feature updates, I'm sorry, you're still going to have to wait. I don't have that video out. I want to put it out this week or this weekend sometime if I get the chance to thoroughly play with the chat and test out all of these new features, because I want to give you the most accurate information. So this video, again, doesn't involve the chat, but it will cover the most prominent changes with the bot itself. And then we scroll down on the changelog page here to the details. And this is, again, as you can see on the sidebar here, we have quite a bit to cover. We're not going to cover all of these as well, but this is more detailed versions of what the new features are and how you can utilize those. So we're just going to scroll way back up here to the top. Now, like I said, I will be linking this page, the changelog page, to the description below the video here. But I want to make it prominent that you need to click that link and you need to scroll through here and read every single one of these lines. Some of them are not going to pertain to you, particularly like my Twitch friends that do not stream on YouTube. There are a lot of YouTube features and updates in this version, and you can kind of gloss over those. But if you're ever thinking about dual streaming to Twitch and YouTube, or if you are already currently streaming to YouTube, you need to pay special attention to those, because there are some big, major changes going on. And that's one of the first things that we're going to talk about. The first thing here is the actual first listing. It is that Nate has added support for multiple YouTube broadcasts. Now, what does that mean exactly? It means that you can update your send message. We're going to scroll way back down. Sorry about the speed. To the multi-broadcast support here. Basically, what this is when you load Streamer.bot now, the 2.4 version, you're going to have a new tab. And let's go ahead and take a look at that. You're going to have a new tab under your platforms, under YouTube. It's called the broadcast tab, and it'll look like this. Let me zoom in a little bit for you here. So this is the broadcast tab under your YouTube on the platforms page. Okay. And it'll list the 20 most recent broadcasts that you have. And these include the completed ones, scheduled ones, your current live one, whatever the case may be. And you can set Streamer.bot to use the send message channel to any of these broadcasts except for completed ones. So completed ones will not be monitored. They will not be able to be updated, but any of the other ones can be. And there is a new feature as well that goes along with this in the actions tab. So we're going to go over there and we're just going to go to our sub actions on an action we've already created. And when you have a send message or a YouTube message, when you double click into here, we have a new drop down, as you can see, called the broadcast. And you have the option to select all, latest, or from a variable. And basically, I'm going to recommend that you leave this set to all so that you don't have to worry about it. But for those of you that are more inclined, what this is going to mean, using all will update that message to all of those broadcasts on that list. So if you make a change to it or whatever, you don't have to worry about, oh, is it not going to do it on this broadcast? Because unlike Twitch, YouTube does allow you to schedule out several broadcasts in advance, right? And when you set those previously, and from my understanding, because as you know, I'm still fairly new to the actual streaming on YouTube, which we do every Saturday. So please come and stop by, say hi, hello, how are you when I do go live on Saturday here on YouTube. Okay, back to it. Sorry. But using all from that drop down will update all the broadcasts. If you use latest, it will update the latest broadcast monitored, which means the last one that was live that's not yet completed, or the next one that's going live, or the current live one if you happen to be live right now. You can also use the variable option. And what this does is it uses a fixed broadcast ID, which is a variable in Streamer.bot, to select a specific single broadcast. The send message methods, as it says here, have been updated and will send a message to any broadcast that is currently being monitored. The sub action has been updated with the dropdown, which is what I showed you before. And the variable option will use a variable that is set by YouTube events that indicate which broadcast they came from and will send the message only to that broadcast. Okay. Now, you have to be logged into your YouTube account. And when you do, like it says on here, let me zoom back out. When you log in, and you may have to reauthorize after doing this update, especially for those on YouTube, but that's when you'll get this broadcast tab and you'll see it populated with all of your broadcasts. You can, as long as they're not completed, you can see the description, the title, you can select the category, the privacy, and make your changes here to it, as well as in YouTube Studio, like the old versions require you to do, but now you can do it right here in Streamer.bot as well. And then of course they have also added some new sub actions to Streamer.bot for YouTube. So if we go to YouTube now, we'll see that it is not still as filled out and flushed out as Twitch, but because of the limits of the API from YouTube, Nate has been able to do a lot more with it. So we have the send message, the set title and description, the set title and description, so you can change them both at the same time. You can ban and time out users now by a specific username, and you can add or remove or target users in a group. And those are all new to the actions or the sub actions drop down here. All right. Next, one of the big things that I really like is in 2.4 is I had to do this manually when I was in 2.3, and it was a big pain in the ass, but I use the site pally.gg. And if you don't know what Pally is, it's basically a donation site, similar in aspect to like a Ko-Fi or Buy Me a Coffee, where people can go and donate to your stream. But this allows you to have multiple people. So for example, I have a Pally set up for my Twitch moderators, and all of my moderators are on the list, and any donation that gets sent through Pally will automatically go just to my moderators. It doesn't go to me specifically, and then they split it equally among them. So I have 3 moderators currently right now, for example. So if somebody came in and donated $3, each of my mods would get $1 out of that. But one of the things that Nate has done is added Pally as a built-in feature now. We can go up here to integrations, and we can see that Pally GG now has its own tab. You should set it to auto connect and auto reconnect. You will need to get your API from the Pally website, which is not that hard at all. And once you have your API key, you just click on the connect to Pally, and then you're all set to go. So all of your alerts and everything's like that. You can now use triggers for Pally and things like that. So we'll look here in the integrations. There it is. So your campaign tip and whether it's connected or disconnected. These are the only 3 that the API allows at the moment, which is why they're the only 3 options. But because we have access to the API in Streamer.bot now, once Pally adds more features, we will be able to add those. But you can add a trigger for a campaign tip, and you can show alerts on your stream through OBS by using that trigger as well. So that's a really great addition, one that I'm going to be making use of for sure. And then now that you know about Pally, hopefully you will too. It is a great, great thing, especially if you want to help multiple members of your community or whatever through donations. Another thing that Nate has done with this version that I want to touch on is the databases. Now, if we look, let me bring this up here. If we look at, let's say, we'll just go in here in my YouTube. Okay, so if we look at my Streamer.bot version, you'll see that there is a folder called data. And if we go in here, it is a whole bunch of database files. And previously, there was no database for your commands, and there is now, which means that your commands are stored in their own database file, which means that they can be read and run a lot more efficiently. So that's going to save us a lot of time and efficiency on the back end, which is another great feature that was added as well. Now we're gonna move away from the YouTube stuff, and we're going to talk more about the Twitch stuff that has been added, because some of those are very, very important. And so I'm going to bring up my other version of Streamer.bot that I use for Twitch. One of the things that has been added, if you know, through Twitch itself is the warning system, right? You can go into your chat now and you can send a warning to specific people. If they're starting to disobey your rules or get out of line, you or your moderators can send a warning to them, and they are not allowed to chat again until they accept that warning. And then once they do, they get logged as being warned, and you can, if you see that you've warned the same person 3 or 4 times, you can then time them out or ban them. So you don't have to either time out or ban right away, if it's their first offense or it's somebody new and they may not know. And it's a great feature that was added by Twitch to do that warning, and it prevents them again from chatting, unlike a timeout. So if you set like a 2-minute timeout, they wouldn't really get the idea. They just know they couldn't chat for 2 minutes. And then they can chat again, and they just keep going. With this warning feature, it allows you to give them a reason of why they're being warned, and it still prevents them from chatting, just kind of like a timeout does, but it goes until they actually accept that they've read that warning and understand it. And then that way it allows you to feel better about yourself too, if you need to kick them or ban them or whatever. But Twitch has put that out, and because it's in the event handler API, Nate has taken that and added handlers for the Twitch warnings themselves. And so let's take a look at that. We're just going to go into a random one here, but because it is a sub action now. But when you right click, and let me go ahead and zoom in for you here. When you right click and we go to Twitch down here, under moderation, you will see that along with the other stuff that you have, the sending shout outs and the adding moderators and VIPs, you now have the warn user. And this will allow you then to give the username and then the reason that they're being warned. And then you can send that warning to them directly by using a hotkey or a command. Now, this will take variables, so you don't have to create this every time, and you can apply it to a specific person. Now, I will be talking more about this feature when we get to the live chat ask video. When we get to the live chat video, because it will integrate with those buttons there, and you can do it per person using the variables that you set in this warn user sub action. Okay. Next, and this is a feature that has been asked for since I believe version 1.15. You know by now that Streamer.bot has the ability to play sounds individually or from a folder. And as of, I think it was 2.23, the previous version, we started having the ability to use their name or give them a name, right? And if the name option was like a variable, so you could, instead of having like the long, whatever the actual file name of your MP3 or WAV file was, you can actually give it a name and it would equate that name with the actual file name. And now also, if you leave the name field blank, it will default to the file name as the name. So you can always reference it by those two variables. But one of the new features in 2.4, which I think is really, really great that we've been asking for, is the ability to stop a sound. Now, normally when it comes to Streamer.bot and an action is run, it's fire and done, right? So it runs all the way through without any interference, and there's nothing you can do about it. Now you can actually stop a sound using the new features there. Okay, so we'll talk about that here. So in the core, so you right click on core, we're going to come down to sounds, and then here's the play sound and play sound from folder that always been there. And now you see that we have the stop all sound playback or stop a single sound playback. And if you choose this one, it'll ask you for that name. It will use the default name if this is left blank, but it does give you the option to set that as like a button on your Stream Deck or as a command, and then you can stop whatever sound is currently being played, which is really, really great. Another big thing you may have noticed, for those of you that have a lot of commands or channel points or actions that are similar in nature, you've done the copy and paste thing, right? So for example, if I wanted to duplicate this current sound, I would make a new action, and then I would have to come in here and right click and choose copy sub action, and then go to the new action and come in here and then click paste sub action, and then go back to this one, get the next one, right? And it was really kind of tedious, and fundamentally it just took a long time. But what we can do, for example, and I will show you here, is we can make a group. So we can add a group, and we can just, you can edit the name. We can rename the group. So this will be my group, right? Or whatever you want to call it. And then you can have your actions put into this group. And some of you may have already done this for certain features, or have imported actions and stuff for functionality that have groups. And if you want to duplicate those, you no longer have to copy and paste each one individually. You can now copy an entire group. So we can copy the group, and then we can go to the new sound, and then we can come down and paste group. And as you can see, everything, all three of them are there. Now you still can't select multiple sub actions singularly to do that. Hopefully that will come in a later update. Let's get rid of this. But having the ability to group your sub actions and then copy that group is going to be a huge time saver as well. So that is another great little add-on, little quality of life feature that was added. And then lastly, the last thing I really want to talk about today is the going back to the YouTube. is now YouTube has the functionality through Streamer.bot to parse and use emotes. You can use the public YouTube emotes, including your monetized, upgraded, your monetized emotes for your channel, and the public YouTube ones as always. But now you can also use Better Twitch TV, 7TV, and the Twitter emojis, or the Twemojis. So support for those have all been included now on the YouTube side. They have been on the Twitch side for a while. They are now in Streamer.bot on the YouTube side also. So when you're doing your send messages, you can add your emotes and your emojis and things and by name, with the colon and then their name or whatever, and it will populate those into your message, into your chat natively right through Streamer.bot. And it also works in the Streamer.bot chat, which I'll get into when I get to that video. All right, so those are the big things. Now, again, I do highly recommend that you come out and you click on this link in the description below to get to the changelog, and you go through and look at all these. Because like I said, I didn't cover everything. Obviously, we don't really have time to cover absolutely everything. And a lot of these new things may or may not pertain to you and your streams. Again, if you're streaming to, say, Trovo, right, you don't care about the YouTube stuff. Likewise, if you're streaming to Twitch, you don't care about the YouTube stuff, or maybe you don't care about the Twitch stuff. So I wanted to keep this informative and short and show you the excitement behind the new changes in 2.4, but also let you kind of get what you need out of it for your specific streams. And the only way to do that is to go through and read what all of these are going to do. Okay, and take some time. This is going to take you probably about 20 minutes to go through and read everything. And, some of it may be a little confusing for you. There's going to be parts that you can gloss over. But again, if you keep going down past all this, down to the details section, you will see that all of the big new features, they have their listing on the right-hand side as well. And so you can click and go directly to that part. But Nate does a pretty good job of detailing what they do and how to utilize them. Okay, so let's go ahead and go back now so we can get rid of this. Hi, we're back here. If you're going through the changelog, or if there's something you want explained more that you don't quite understand, drop it in the comments below. Ask me, and I'll be more than happy to try to explain it to you in the comments. But I said, I just don't have the time to make a video. If I were to cover every single change, update, and bug fix on this changelog, this video would be about 6 hours long. So I want you to do that homework for the ones that are pertaining to you and your streams. And if you are confused, if you don't understand what the changes do or how you can best utilize them, leave a message below. Just make sure you let me know what service you're streaming to, whether it be Twitch, YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, or all of the above, whatever it is, and then the feature that you have questions with. And we'll do our best to work together and get you to understand how best to utilize that feature and what it means for your streams moving forward. Also, if there's something that you feel that is a major change to this port that is beneficial to more than just a specific population of the people that are watching this video, leave that in the comments below too, and say, hey, you forgot this really big feature. I think it's really important and it's really cool, and here's how I'm using it. And go ahead and share that information with the rest of the class, right? But for the most part, we're gonna call that good today. And I think that everybody should be upgraded to 2.4 now. Like I said, there are going to be some things that aren't going to work. You're going to have to go back and change a couple of the settings because some of the variables might have changed, or some of the way that they're handled. For your YouTube people, you will get asked to to authorize your account all over again because of the new scope handling. And that's one of the big changes I should have mentioned too. I did talk about having to log in, but previously we had to use the Google API, which came with, I think it was like 5 or 6 different DLL files that all had to be scoped and signed into. And now, because of the new YouTube API that Nate has been able to use, that's down to 1. one file, and that one file changeover is what's going to cause you to have to re-authenticate, but you're only going to have to do it the one time, and then you'll have access to the broadcast list and all of the other new YouTube features. Okay, so I know this was kind of fast. I said I wanted to keep it short. I think we're doing a pretty good job of doing that for my average tutorials. And if you found it informative and you're excited about the update, go ahead and click the little thumbs up, show that you like the video. If you aren't subscribed yet and you want to subscribe, that would really make me feel good and happy and warm inside, and I appreciate you, and welcome to the family. We are a growing little lovely community here that likes to help each other out and learn all about the harder aspects of the streaming career that we are all on. So coming up next on the Streamer.bot side of things, we're going to talk about the Streamer.bot chat, the new updates to those as well. And we're also going to be talking, I'm going to put out some tutorials on handling your channel points on Twitch, how to make some really cool features. We're also going to cover green screen effects coming up as well. I have a couple of other smaller ones to throw in the mix in there as well. And then, of course, the Streamer.bot chat. I'm going to do a full video on all the changes and new features for that once I'm comfortable enough using all of them to explain it to you in a more layman's type term. Okay. But again, if you have any questions, any comments, any snide remarks, whatever, please leave them in the comments below so that my tutorials can get even better. But yeah, and also if you have an idea for something that you want covered in one of my more in-depth and thorough tutorials, drop that in the comments below as well too. We have several user requested tutorials that are coming up in the pipes, the channel points being one of them. And I will add that to my list. And the user requested ones always get moved to the top of the list over the ones that I think need to be put out. So again, if you have something that you are struggling with or whatever, and you want to see a tutorial on it, drop that information in the comments below. Let me know, and I will add it to the list, and we'll get that tutorial pushed out to you as soon as possible. But yeah, that's it. So we'll see you next time. Hopefully I'll have a new one updated for you here in another couple days. I'm going to try to get a couple out this week for you guys. So enjoy this one. Go update Streamer.bot. Enjoy the new features. Play around with them. See what you can do. I cannot wait to see what you can create with all the new aspects of Streamer.bot and with OBS too. And I look forward to seeing those in your streams, and come share mine, right? I'll see you in my streams as well. Again, Saturdays here on YouTube, moving forward, going live. So come check us out there. And until next time, everybody, love, peace, and chicken grease.